Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. We talked last week about getting your website found on Google. So as you're working on building your website, you probably are thinking about now what you want it to look like. Now, there are a lot of subjective things that go into website design. There are trends that occur and a lot of different pieces that can get really overwhelming. But there are definitely things that I think appeal and work on every single website. And I'm going to walk you through 3 web design tips that will immediately improve your user experience and customer experience. So let's get started. Now, this first tip I want to talk to you guys about, I'm going to show you some examples, and that is to point your images into the copy. What I mean by that is when you think about an image, like if you have a person, if you have anything with any kind of eye line, for instance, you want the eye line of that person to be pointed at the actual copy on the web page, and their body language too to be pointed at the copy of the web page, because subconsciously we're going to follow that eye line. So I'm going to show you guys some examples of my own website and current clients. So we start out here, and you can see that I have even the eyeline of the website that I am promoting. I lead right into the copy here. But even more so we have, this one's a little bit more difficult because it's just stuff. So it doesn't there's not necessarily something to point, but the general body language is more towards me, right? But then here as well, even though my eye line is not directly looking at the copy, I am pointed towards that copy. Now let's look at another client of mine. So they have a nice video header that's going to be a little different. But as we scroll down, the body language points in on both of these to the copy for the funnel. And then the body language again here, most everybody is pulling you in to that copy. Now, what this does is it helps people really see the copy. It helps your eye navigate, and it shows you where to go. I'm going to show you a website that bothers me every single time I'm on it. It's a zine, so it's a little bit different, but I want to show you what it does to you. So this is Entertainment Weekly. So you can see here, we're not looking at the copy. We're not even looking anywhere near the rest of the website. We're looking off page. Now he's looking at me. That's okay. And I know that they're throwing up graphics. They're not really stopping to think about this as they push out content. But as I scroll down, I want you to notice. So as we move to the page here, we move out here, and where your eye line goes as you scroll, it doesn't necessarily go to the copy. We have another one here where he's kind of looking back, but his body language is very much leading away. And what can happen when you do that, when you have that, your eye line subconsciously moves off the page instead of moving down. So it can actually cause you to not really look at the actual copy. It can cause you to go completely off screen. So when we talk about pointing our images in, especially for the main pages of your website, if you are a coach or a solopreneur, for instance, using different angles when you do a photo shoot of your body so that you can have some where your body leads in and some where your body leads out is really imperative so that you make sure that you're leading people through the copy. Now, you can make this even cooler by including some shots where you're kind of looking over and down, and that can help move somebody through the copy that way as well. It's one of those really simple tricks that we probably don't think about a lot, but now that you know, I bet you're going to notice when you go off screen versus when you continue down the page. And it's a really simple user experience thing that makes your life a whole lot easier and actually does a lot to increase conversions because it keeps people scrolling and it keeps them reading. Okay, number 2, you want to be really careful with your color choices on your website. Now, I say that, and I can't tell you exactly what colors are going to be right for you. That's going to vary depending on your business, right? But one thing that I tell a lot of people is to try to keep it to 3 or 4 colors on your website. So think about it like this: you want to have one main color and 2 accent colors that you can use. And these can be vibrant or not. That just depends on your branding. And honestly, if you've paid someone to do your brand, you should have about 3 colors at minimum to choose from. A lot of the professionally done branding packages I see include 6 colors. So you have a few to work with. And then I would include 1 or 2 neutral colors. Now, that one neutral color could be white. So maybe you want to add in a gray, or you want to add in a tan, just kind of depending on your scheme. But add one neutral color beside white to that. And that keeps your website from looking like a clown car or a rainbow, if that's not what you're going for. And then the next thing to really keep in mind with your color is be mindful of the font color that you're putting on top of the background color. You want there to be enough contrast between the text color and the background that it is on so that anybody with different visual abilities will be able to read it. Think about those people that have, for instance, any kind of color blindness or any kind of vision problems. It can create and make that text really hard to read. So honestly, one of the best things that you can do is black on white because it has the best color contrast. But there are tools that you can use online to check that color contrast and ensure that it's good enough. Now, personally, I highly recommend and tell you to avoid putting text on top of a heavily patterned background. While that can look really cool in some ways, it can be incredibly hard to read. And for those of us that look at these screens all day long, making it really easy for you to not have your eyes hurt, it's a big thing. You don't want people to have a bad experience on your website. Okay, number 3, you want to make sure that you're leaving plenty of white space around your design elements. Now, when I talk about white space, I don't necessarily mean that it has to be white, but that white space instead is open space in your design that helps create flow. It helps move people down the page and it helps people know kind of what to do next. So if I were to show you my own website again, and you can see here, we've got a nice amount of space in between each of these sections, and it keeps you scrolling. It keeps and makes it feel like it's got room to breathe, right? We want to make sure that any type of design pieces that we have like this, that we have enough space so it doesn't feel overwhelming. Even though I'm using 3 different colors and 2 of them that are very bright colors on this one section, nothing really feels very overwhelming, and everything is guiding me to do exactly what I want to do with it. And everything is guiding my user to exactly what I want them to do. I want them to click that button and scroll down below, but they have more information here that they can continue scrolling for as well. So this white space that you can see on this background image that I have lets me see the image, lets me have breathing space and focus on one panel at a time without being overwhelmed as to where I'm supposed to scroll and go next. White space is actually what the trickiest one, I think, of all of this. Having just enough without having too much that you hide the next elements is a very hard design trick. But just make sure that you're not squishing everything into the same box, because if you have too many things to look at, you're going to overwhelm the eye and you're going to make it incredibly hard for somebody to look at what you've got on your page and know where they're supposed to go next and how they're supposed to flow through your website. Now, all of these design tips are really pretty simple, but they all are stuff that you can go through and check on today. I actually challenge you to go through your images and see if they're pointing into the copy and swap them out if they're not. And I want to I want you guys to check and see how your leads and conversions go over the next few weeks as you're driving traffic to your website. Speaking of leads, next week we're going to talk about creating contact forms that convert. So make sure you tune in, same time. See you guys later.